If you don't have the right packaging, you won't get views. All right, guys, welcome back to the Creator's Lunch Table. Today, we are going to answer another one of your questions. Yes, that's right. We're going to answer your question if you're a subscriber, that is. And if you're not, well, that's okay. We're going to be able to let you listen in on this because we're at the Creator's Lunch Table, baby.
Oh, 100%.
That's where we're at.
And listen, even if you're not subscribed, I'm not saying you got to go subscribe.
No,
I mean, you can if you want.
Don't
you
tell
can
them
if you
to
want.
subscribe.
But you can still send a message in.
Yeah.
How are they going to send that message in?
Yeah, just head on over to speakpipe.com/live video school. Once again, that's speakpipe.com/live video school. And we will drop that link in the description as well. But you can just go there. 90 seconds. It's all you get.
That's all you get. Not a second more now.
Not a second more. 90 seconds. And also make sure that you mention your channel so we can give you a little love, give you a little shout out. Yep. All right. So, all right, here's what we're going to do. We've got one queued up right now. This one's from Joseph. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to play this message. Let me hold that right there. All right, here we go. On the count of three. 3, 2, 1.
I'm Joseph with Plain History, and I have a question about thumbnails and titles. I get impressions, quite a few impressions actually, but I need to package my thumbnails in a way that appeals to those who are interested in aviation, because that is what my channel is about, and I need to call out my niche a little bit more in both the thumbnail and the title. If you guys could break down what I'm doing wrong and what I can do better, that would be amazing. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Cool. All right, Joseph. Awesome. Well, first off, getting impressions, awesome.
Yeah.
We can't do anything unless we're getting impressions. All right. And we talked about this in our last podcast episode about, well, the analytics. And part of the thing that we talked about was getting the impressions. Probably the hardest thing is to get the impressions. Once we get the impressions, now it's getting the click, right? And then once we get the click, we got to get people to watch, right? The impressions, we got that taken care of, right, Joseph? We're all good there. Now, and I'm glad that he said packaging.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize if you don't have the right packaging, you won't get views. You might get some clicks, but here's what's going to happen. You're going to get the impressions. Your click-through rate's going to be low. YouTube's going to look at that and go, oh, people aren't really digging this. They're not clicking. And if they're not clicking, they're not going to push your video. So then you're not going to be able to get those views. So yes, I'm glad that you brought this up. And actually you did look at his channel beforehand, just so that we could kind of figure out if we were going to be able to give some advice. And you do have a couple things that you pulled out. But I'm glad that he said that, because when you are creating your videos, like a lot of people are thinking about like, okay, what's the content? We're going to create this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do B-roll. We're going to do this. We're going to do all these different edits and all that stuff. The thing is, no one's going to watch that if you don't get them past, or if you don't get them to click and then get them into the video. That don't matter. Got a little fired up there. Anyway, yeah, you got to be able to get the click, right? And so why don't you talk a little bit about, there's like 3 things that we look at as far as the thumbnail. And I think a lot of people overcomplicate it, but let's talk about the importance of those 3 things.
Yeah. So with your thumbnail, okay, there's 3, like you said, there's 3 things that we really focus on. I call it like 3 points of contact or 3 points of interest, which is number 1, if you're using yourself, that's great. So like if you have yourself is in it, that's awesome. If not, if you have some sort of person or an object, whatever it is, you have to have that.
Well, okay. He's in aviation.
So he's in aviation, and I looked at his thumbnails. He is in them. So I'm going to use that as an example. You need to take up 1/3 of that. So you should have, your face should take up 1/3 of the whole picture of the thumbnail. Okay. Because remember, when we're on mobile and stuff, it doesn't look that big. And a lot of views are coming from mobile. So we want you to really pop. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, you need to have whatever it is you're talking about. So you're talking about aviation, you need to have a plane in there, whatever you're talking about. If you're talking about a fighter jet, if you're talking about just a regular commercial plane, like whatever, you need to have that in there. And again, that should be taking up a good amount as well. Now that doesn't have to take up the full 1/3 like your face, but it should take up a good portion of it, because that's where you're trying to point the focus to, right? So you're kind of there saying, hey, this is me going to share the information. You kind of get to trust me, know me, right? And then you're going to look over here. This is what we're going to be talking about, okay? So now, and I tell this to a lot of our people in the 1K collective, is I want to tell a story before I put any text, right? So I want you to understand what my video is going to be about, what the title is going to be, all of that, by just looking at the picture with no text. So right now, I know it's him in a plane. He's talking about something with either aviation or something with planes of some sort, right?
Yep.
So I'm in the right niche, right? I'm there. The icing on the cake is now I put a curiosity-based words. So we usually stay between 2 to 4 words, but something that really draws the attention of the or interest of the person that's going to click on the video. So we notice a lot more negative thumbnails do a little better. Not saying it has to be negative. Right. When I say negative, I mean like, don't do this, or I'm shocked.
Yes.
Or watch out.
Right.
Like stuff like that pops really good. Now, you could do stuff like this. Do this instead. It's still positive.
Well, we had one that did really good recently. It was like, turn this on.
Yeah, turn this on, right? Study like this, because if he's talking about pilot training and stuff like that, study like this, right? And then you just have a little arrow going to whatever it is. Now, you don't have to do the arrow, but that's, again, just adds a little thing. Though. But there's the 3 things. So we have him. We have, again, now we're using planes because that's his thing. But if you were doing a product, if you were doing...
Oh, we just did one last week with Corey.
Yep.
Barbecue. You
put
better have something barbecue in there.
Put a piece of steak in there. Put a burger, brisket, whatever.
Damn, I'm hungry.
I know. We'll eat after this.
Yeah.
I need to put that in there. And then again, the icing on the cake is the words, right? Mm-hmm. And it has to be powerful words. I see a lot of people just be like, these 5 tips. That's great, but I don't really want to click. I don't care as much, right? But if you say like, you better do this,
right?
What do I better do? And it's something to do with piloting and this, and that's something that I'm interested in.
Or you're trying to go take a test or something.
Yep.
It's like, something like, don't mess up this, or something like that, or
Yep.
don't miss this question, or don't get this question wrong, right? It's like, you want to know what that question is.
And obviously, this also has to relate to the title. So back to your packaging question, is this has to relate. So if your thing was, 5 tips to help you pass your aviation exam or something like that, then you, in your thumbnail you can do like, don't make this mistake, and it has you maybe with a pen and paper and then the plane or whatever, right? And now it's like all that, and you have that text. Now it all relates. It relates to your title. The thumbnail looks great because now it makes all that. So now when people are, number one, they're getting the impression because there's something to do with piloting that they're looking up, right? They see that, and now they're in that niche. They see this. I'm going to click on that because it's the curiosity base, right? It's the curiosity. We need to have that wow factor that, okay, I got to click on this because I got to see what he's talking about, right? But if it's just like, instead of doing that, you said, these 5 tips are the best or whatever people do that put on there, I'm not necessarily going to click on. Right. I'm just not. Like, I need it to be more curiosity.
It's got to be interesting, right? It's got to be of interest, and it has to get you to want to click to see what it is, right? And or what the solution is, or what the thing is to avoid, or what the mistake to not do, or like. And we're not saying everything has to be that way, but like there are a lot of situations where you can turn a negative into a positive, and that's a lot of times we say, like, you might lead with a negative, but it's going to be a positive. Be like, hey, there's this one mistake. I don't want you to make it. Going to actually be okay because you're watching this video and you're going to avoid this, and it's going to make your life a lot better. Like, that's kind of how you're turning that around. And that's just the way it is. Before we do go any little further here, we talked about impressions in the beginning, and those are the most important. And you might be saying like, well, that's great for him and getting all these impressions. He must be doing some titles right. And this is where I should probably mention that if you struggle with getting impressions, that's probably because your titles are not that great, just to be blunt.
He's saying they suck. That's what he's saying. We got to do better on the titles.
We got to do better. Yeah, we got to do better. I've had sucky titles. You've had sucky titles.
Terrible titles.
We've all had them, right? But we're learned. And so over the last, I would say, 10 years, we've learned. And over the last 2 years, we've really dialed it in. We have 10 titles that we're willing to give you, and we turned them into templates. These have worked over and over and over again, and they've worked for thousands now because we've given out thousands. If you would like a copy of that, just comment hooks. All right. Hooks in the comments gets you 10 of our top titles that have done really well. And we actually turned that into some templates that you can just plug in your niche and have a go with them. Have a go with them. So anyway, that's that. I wanted to just say that because number one, a lot of people, they struggle with just getting the impression. Can't get the impression. We can't do what we're talking about right now.
That's true.
Right? So anything else you want to say on that before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's good. And I think if there's more in this that you guys are like, oh, but I want to know about this, or you have a question about something else with YouTube related, you can ask a question, pull up a chair over here at the table. All you got to do is go to speakpipe.com/. YouTube.com/live video school, and you can send us one of those messages. Again, you can pull up a chair right next to us, be included in this creator's lunch table.
Yeah.
And again, just go to speakpipe.com/live video school. You only got 90 seconds to do that video or that audio message. So make sure you get snappy to the point.
And think about this for a second, right? You're back in school, in high school, right? And we're sitting here and this is where the creators sit.
Yeah.
And Joseph comes popping through that door. He goes, hey guys, save me a seat. I got a question. We're like, Joseph, come on over, man. Pull it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Just snag one of those ring dings on the way over. If you watch one of the other episodes, you'll get the ring ding comment. Anyway. All right. That's going to wrap this one up. And as always, guys, remember, we're here for you. We believe in you. We're rooting for you. But you have to.
You must.
Say it with me. Say it loud. Say it proud. Take action. Woo!
You started taking my part a little bit.
Sorry.
Messed up a little bit.
Yeah. All right. You're here. Still here. You're still watching this. That means that you are you're the person that's at the lunch table. Legit. Like you're here, right? You stayed to the end. So we got something for you.
I got something great for them.
All right. You do?
Yeah, I do.
All right, cool. So here's what we want to do. At the end of these, we put a little keyword in there that we want you to comment down below. This lets us know that you are truly at the creator's lunch table.
Yep.
So Scotty, what do they need to say in the comments?
So I think because you guys are here, you're inside your lunch table. I think there's no better word than inside.
Inside.
You're inside.
So say inside. Not insider.
No, inside. Just right inside. They're gonna be like, people in the comments be like, what do you mean inside?
What do you mean inside?
I'm inside the Creators Club, the Creators Lunch Table. I'm there.
Yeah.
You know what I meant.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go.
I guess we'll see you in the next episode then.
See you then.
Bye.
Inside.
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 Inside. Makes me feel so good. Makes me feel all crazy inside.